Hey, what's going on, guys? Kevin Cage back with another cryptocurrency update. Hope all is well. Want to clarify a few things in today's video, talking about, again, the $155 trillion cross-border market. Of course, we can talk about the dormant capital, anywhere from $2 trillion to $27 trillion, doing nothing, suffering from capital costs, inflation, you name it. And again, XRP can free some of that capital as well. And then also speculate on why on earth, if we're really only targeting the cross-border market, why are we also building upon, again, the derivatives market, which is again anywhere from $544 trillion to $1.2 quadrillion. Analysts estimate, because it is a rather intangible market, that it is roughly $700 trillion. So again, as we know, Ripple says they do not want to spread themselves too thin, yet they have other verticals building other things. They say that they are not going to go on and build other verticals until they have one locked in and in the bag. So it is my bet that XRP has a lot more than we anticipate in terms of future adoption, specifically for the cross-border market. So whatever you believe, is it, we're waiting regulations? Are we waiting for liquidity to be built? Let me know your thoughts down below. But again, just like Anders Lundberg shared on Twitter, I do believe this, despite, other people. And yes, I do have a bias because I hold XRP. You guys decide for yourselves, and I'll kind of touch on a few things in this video. But again, what he said is they're not late to the game. It was their game from the beginning. So without further ado, let's get into the information. So I want to play this quick clip of this gentleman from Santander and Finality, again, the utility settlement token. Remember back in the day, they called it the XRP killer, just like everything. And he even admits, now I believe this was, I think this was 2019. If it was 2018, again, whatever year it was, basically subtract 3.5 years, and they admit behind closed doors they were building central bank digital currencies. And they said that they could not, talk about it until Libra came about. Again, Facebook's currency. So just listen to this. The majority of these partners and banks that are named have done trials with XRP, RippleNet integrated, or are just simply RippleNet.
Commerce Bank, Santander, of central bank money. So we at Banco Santander and 15 other financial institutions, Credit Suisse, UBS.
And Credit Suisse, again, has done, commentary on various documents on Ripple XRP. UBS is, again, RippleNet.
In Switzerland, KBC, ING, Commerce Bank, Santander, Eurozone,
Ripple.
Barclays, Lloyds, Pounds, Bank of New York,
Ripple.
Mellon, State Street, NASDAQ,
Ripple.
Dollars, CIBC, Canadian Dollars, MUFG, Mizuho, SMBC, Japanese Yen. 15 banks have been working on creating central bank digital currency as a consortium for the last 3.5 years. I've been working on this for 3.5 years. Quietly, the central banks had said to us, shh, say nothing. And then our friends at Facebook announced Libra, and all of a sudden, thank you, by the way, because we were allowed to talk about what we've been doing.
So very interesting there, as they admit they're finally allowed to, again, disclose this NDA, again, regarding this type of settlement project. All right, so now as we keep going, again, this was back in the day of 2019, 14 banks. Notice in the video, he did say 15 banks. And talking, again, this is still a walled garden, even if it is a walled garden, a big walled garden with maybe 14 or 15 banks and some of their subsidiaries. Again, this is not going to be built upon a level playing field like XRP. So nonetheless, XRP is still needed, period. All right? Notice the value proposition there. Now, I want to go speed through this. I know many of you have already seen this, but I want to touch on a few things that may have been missed, or specifically for you newcomers. So talking about the petrodollar, again, yes, it has been dead. I believe it has been, killed off since the beginning of this year. I am Legion with this great thread. Whether or not you, believe it or not, that's completely fine. I personally don't care. I just want you guys to decide for yourselves. And of course, we are going to have to speculate in a speculative market. If that bothers you, you're probably in the wrong market, period. So if conspiracy theories or anything bother you, you probably shouldn't be investing in 2020 in a digital asset space, period. I'm here to make life-changing wealth, just like many other people. I already know people that have made millions of dollars. So again, just looking to capitalize. All right, so right here, I am Legion talking about, again, 40, 50 central banks. Again, these are central banks, governments of the world, specifically talking about Interledger Protocol, the glue that hold all of this together, strategically gifted to the W3C, the World Wide Web Consortium that, again, basically promotes inclusion, progress, and basically governs the entire internet. Ripple created this from the get-go. I believe it has been their game for quite some time, directly related to the Federal Reserve from the get-go, a unicorn out of Silicon Valley, a private company that is valued at $10 billion out of nowhere, does not just get to sit with the IMF and consult with the Bank of International Settlements and the World Bank from the get-go, and has been chatting with them since 2013, 2014. Again, of course, we are investing in the digital asset, but again, the people, we are investing in the people as well. Okay. So again, just like we've talked about maybe 6 months ago, all these fiat currencies, USD, Euro, all of this, sterling, the pound sterling, all this, they have, tickers and abbreviation. Well, gold, notice it starts with X, even though the elemental chart is AU. So gold is XAU, just like silver. Instead of AG, it's XAG. It's because it's not owned by a single sovereign nation, just like XRP. Okay, so again, back in the day, XRP was actually called the Ripples. So again, the X and then Ripples, depending on how you see it. Again, David Schwartz, CTO of Ripple, does discuss this as well. So again, just a little speculation there. It was designed from the get-go. You can look at early documents as well, which could be a coincidence of the International Monetary Fund, and they use an abbreviation called XRP, which is Exchange Rate Peg. Could it be coincidental? Perhaps, but again, I wanted to put that information out there. So right here, Bank of England, Bank of Japan, and the European Central Bank, to name a few, back in the day when they announced Ripple's Global Payment Steering Group. Well, why is this a big deal? Besides having, basically RippleNet members and Bank of America here since 2016, by the way. But no, they're not RippleNet because there's no proof, apparently. Again, in MUFG, some of the biggest banks in the world, again, Canada, I believe they're already fully ingrained with, Ripple technology integrations at least, and just simply future proofing, just like, King Solomon has been saying a lot. And I really like that because it is. They're all future proofing. They are basically adopting technologies that are basically getting set up to win on a level playing field. If these assets, if these networks, if these protocols cannot win on a level playing field, they do not deserve to win at all. Period. If Facebook Libra has to get shoved down people's throats in order to become a world currency or be used and mainstream adopted, it means it wouldn't have been able to do it on its own, thanks to, its own technology. All right, so if XRP wins, it's going to be down based to cold hard math, not, tribalism, period. My opinion, your opinion, it doesn't matter. Again, what will happen. And all we can do is do our research, play smart, and again, take risks. And one of the cool clips that came out today, and I'm pretty sure we've said this, I'm sure a lot of people have said this, this woman here in this interview that XRP Crypto Wolf shares, she says one of the biggest risks that you could take this year is not taking any risk at all. Again, we are on the precipice of either some big crashes before a bull run or one of the biggest bull runs ever, period. All right, so before I continue on, again, talking about finality, continuing here. So remember, Global Payment Steering Group, remember the DTCC, essentially the Federal Reserve before there was a Fed. They, funny enough, Don Donahue, again, the CEO, after he left, became, again, the chairman of this Global Payment Steering Group, which is Ripple's. Coincidence? I don't think so. All right. Also, Ripple's Ryan Zagone to join the Federal Reserve's Faster Payments Task Force Steering Committee, as we know. Now, a little bit about Chris Larson, which I want to kind of go over as well. Talking about XRP, obviously, help preventing the next financial crisis. If you guys think, 2008, 2007, 2009, yeah, maybe they really had no end game in mind and it was like, oh my gosh, a complete, science experiment that went bad. If you do not think that these powers, the Lehman Brothers, the, Wall Street, if you don't think that these guys have had time to come up with a backup plan before this implodes all over again, I don't know what to tell you. I believe that there are some, big plans in that, ahead. Some people believe, and this is, I'm not saying I do, I'm simply sharing this information. Some people believe that, XRP's use case towards a remittance and, cross-border payments towards these illiquid corridors is just a distraction for people. They put out the information, yes, they build upon it, but it's all a distraction and there's greater things at play, perhaps related to, T-bonds and, everything going on. Who knows? We'll see how it plays out. I don't really care, which YouTubers write. I don't care what Riddlers write. I don't care about any of that. I'm holding XRP. The only person I'm going to thank is myself because I took initiative, and that's how you guys should be. So don't thank anybody. Just again, take advantage of this opportunity. Do what's best for you. If you don't like, XRP, you like another asset, that's awesome. I hold a variety of assets. I recommend, diversifying. Some people argue diversification is for people that don't know what for those that don't know what they're doing. I can agree with that and kind of can laugh at that. But again, guys, hypocrisy is all around us. Just like Crypto Whale even put out a great tweet, and honestly, great information as always, just on Twitter, and basically just talking about since 2014, Bitcoin alone, and pretty much the entire cryptocurrency market, has been artificially propped up by Tether, again, the stablecoin USDT. So we typically criticize the Federal Reserve and Bitcoin maxis. That's their value prop. They criticize the Federal Reserve, but then they ignore the fact that the same thing is happening in cryptocurrency. A bit hypocritical, yes? And, I'm right there with you, and I love that analogy. All right? Next, again, pay attention to this. So with Christine Lagarde, formerly, again, the director at the International Monetary Fund back in 2018, when they expanded their fintech financial technology group to foster greater collaboration between national authorities and international organizations. Now notice some of the names in this complete list of the group below. So yes, Chris Larsen of Ripple, no surprise. We have, Bank of Indonesia. We have U.S. Treasury. We have the DTCC, which we just mentioned with Don Donahue, one of the biggest banks, BBVA. We also have, formerly, Ant Financial, again, President Alibaba, and also the CEO of Circle, Jeremy Allaire. Guys, USDC, Circle, big things. I believe they're highly connected as well. One of the firms I believe will likely go public in the future. And remember, tightly ingrained with Coinbase and Brian Brooks, tightly ingrained with Algorand and their currency, Algo. Again, Algorand is listed on Coinbase, Binance US, you name it. And also, for anybody that lives in Alabama, today, Binance US did announce that you can create accounts with them as well below. So again, links are in the video description. And then also, as we can see, the ECB. So these people are tightly connected, all about financial inclusion, winning on a level playing field. All right. Next, I'm going to keep going here. So right here, what I like a lot, I'm Legion sharing this. So with Microsoft, so back in 2015, guys, on Ripple's Insights page, Microsoft's Marley Gray, Ripple and Interledger Protocol will be the fabric of multi-chain future. Now keep in mind, right when IOP was becoming a thing and a term, when they refer to Ripple, it's not just XRP, it's really just the entire protocol of helping move value as seamlessly as information. So when they say Ripple, it can mean messaging, it can mean the whole software suite. Back in the day, their X series, XVIA, XRapid, XCurrent, all of that, okay? So again, Marley Gray leads Microsoft Azure's Blockchain as a Service, BaaS initiative. So right here, Interledger Protocol. At the end of the day, these things are underlying all of these applications in smart contracts as payments. Big, guys. Again, all of the value. So again, it's not just 27 trillion pre-funded accounts that, XRP might be able to replace some of that, or, going after the $155 trillion cross-border market. 1% of 155 trillion is 1.5 trillion. 10% would be 15.5 trillion. 50% would be 77.5 trillion. And again, we can talk about the derivatives market of $700 trillion as that average. 1% of that, 7 trillion. 10%, $70 trillion. And 50%, $350 trillion. Now notice, all of these verticals are also growing. We are printing money, quantitative easing, into infinity. The government is not stopping anytime soon. So, people believe that there's going to be something that saves the day. We have elections coming up. Really, really interesting. We are in very uncertain and exciting times, but also very scary times as well. So if someone says this is exactly how it's going to, go down, don't believe them. Nobody knows for sure. And if they do, they're certainly not telling people. Please, guys, just be smart and just think yourselves at the end of the day. And, you don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with anybody. Just decide for yourselves. All right. So again, Ripple. And then also right here, guys, this is basically how the future is going to work. They're not just saying XRP, 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 because they're not worried about XRP's success. They already know this is a done deal in the future of payments. So in financial services, I think we're going to see a mixture of different blockchain technologies. Also, if you guys saw, I watched a Digital Asset Investors video this morning talking about even back in the day, the Obama administration had a DLT group, again, distributed ledger technology. Who would have thought? Again, this is simply the future for the financial market. It's beyond just, us getting lucky on a few digital assets. Public, private, all these permission blockchains and ledgers are databases. And this is where this is going for a variety of reasons. So there's going to be many chains for swaps, chains for bonds. They're each going to have different characteristics based off of the market. And we're going to see chain patterns evolve. So you could plug and play, a variety of consensus algorithms based on the products that exist on that chain. Again, the best fit for the customer, the best fit for that specific asset. Okay, derivatives, future swaps, those types of products are going to have to interoperate and connect to, live feeds and oracles. It's quite evident when you just kind of sit back and look at it from a macro. All right, given this multi-chain vision, we see smart contracts as a key piece. And again, remember what they say, you need ILP, interledger protocol. And they say, so that's the protocol, but then the asset, the native asset on the XRPL is XRP. Ripple has said interledger protocol and XRP are their secret sauce. ILP right here is the glue in the system that holds all of this together. Different chains can interoperate. A derivatives chain can interact with the securities chain it's derived from. Again, talking about derivatives, and this is exactly what we were talking about, that $700 trillion market. I'm not saying that's a guarantee to get a huge portion of the market. I'm saying that it exists, all right? All right, and then again, Monica Long and Michelle Bond of Ripple right here, as you can listen up.
We are engaging with 50 different governments worldwide.
All right, 50 different governments right there. We have Sagar Sarabhai. I always butcher his name.
Employed by Ripple because so we actually work very closely with about 40, 50 central banks across the globe.
All right. I mean, and again, guys, the sky's the limit. We have e-commerce growing. We have payments. You could argue even domestic use cases. We can look at lending, what RippleNet is doing, syndicated loans, real estate, equity, all kinds of equities like stocks, even intellectual property, art. Who knows? I mean, the sky's the limit. Trying to speculate on this is just trying to speculate, what the internet would have been like in 1980. I mean, today, like truly. And things are going to happen faster than we think, just like I showed in that previous video of Christine Lagarde's quote regarding economics. All right? Talking about, special payment vehicles, all of this, guys. There's a variety of things. Bottom line is, DLT is going to make a dent in the universe, and yes, bottom line is I believe that XRP will be one of the obvious contenders. Will there be others that might have short-term gains better than XRP? Possible. I don't know, and we will simply see, but I wanted to share that information. Now, something else that I wanted to share and just kind of give you guys a laugh is XRP Crypto Wolf sharing this. So Bloomberg put this out, and this is one reason why I'm a little cynical on what they say. Goldman Sachs and Deutsche Bank said the U.S. stock market sell-off may be close to an end. Every time we see this, then, we see stocks drop. Every time they try to keep the people calm. Oh, the Dow Jones is back up to 28,000, relax. And then boom, next month, drop. All right, so the Federal Reserve will have to give the stock market a boost by printing more money soon, since a bullish stock market will help the upcoming presidential election. Perhaps we have that same sentiment, but when the majority think one thing, typically the opposite happens. Again, guys, a high, healthy Dow Jones, a healthy stock market, and I'm just using that index as one of the oldest indices, is very foolish because we relate a high number with a healthy economy, and it could not be further from the truth. Again, I know you guys that watch this channel, you're well aware of this. You're probably rolling your eyes at why I'm, saying this again, but it is the truth. Now, notice right here, just a quote from, again, lead Goldman, let's see, right... Yeah, so talking about this, a typical sell-off in the S&P 500, and then this, wrote the Goldman strategists. Despite the sharp sell-off in the past week, we remain optimistic about the path of the U.S. equity market in coming months. If I don't really care if you believe me or not, I don't believe these guys whatsoever, all right? So you guys let me know your thoughts. Hopefully this video didn't get too drawn out. And then the only thing I want to emphasize was this. I saw a variety of people covering this video. Really, really well done by, again, Ripple strategic advisor Zoe Cruz, and basically just talking about Netscape in the early 2000s, and that's, comparable to Bitcoin per se, or could Bitcoin be the Google and actually, survive and explode? My thoughts on this is this. There's no perfect investment. Not one asset can solve every single problem. Again, there are trade-offs for everything, just like even that blockchain trilemma, if you guys believe that to be, a real issue. Now, one thing is this. If I'm in this market, and keep in mind I'm biased, I hold a lot of XRP, I would much rather hold 100% XRP over 100% Bitcoin. But I would much rather diversify rather than holding 100% XRP as well. Now, XRP is obviously one of my biggest positions. It will be for the coming years as well. But it's just, it's not going to be Bitcoin, in my opinion, for payments. I'm looking at the connections. I'm looking at groups that have been meeting with the Federal Reserve. I'm looking at people that will profit and pay off handsomely from all of this. Again, this world is run by greed, and just with a little common sense, I think you guys can agree that, XRP will be an obvious contender in the future of payments. Now, there's going to be a variety of others and a variety of verticals, and probably new verticals that we can't even predict, but I just wanted to share that with you. I think it's pretty evident. You guys let me, know your thoughts down below. Maybe I'm just crazy, but I will see you in the next video.